What if everything you believe about your limitations is simply a story you've been telling yourself? Imagine waking up to discover that the walls holding you back were never real. They were shadows cast by old fears and borrowed beliefs. The truth is, you contain multitudes more powerful than you've ever allowed yourself to imagine. There comes a moment in every seeker's journey when the veil lifts, when the small self dissolves into the vastness of what's possible. This isn't about positive thinking or wishful dreaming. This is about remembering your divine blueprint, the original coding of your soul before doubt crept in. You weren't born believing you weren't enough. That came later, through whispers and wounds that clouded your vision. Feel this truth in your bones. The universe doesn't create accidents or half-formed miracles. You are here by sacred design, carrying within you the exact gifts this world needs most right now. But somewhere along the way, you traded your birthright of wonder for the comfort of familiar limitations. You learned to play small to avoid shining too brightly, to dim your light so others wouldn't feel uncomfortable in their own darkness. Yet here's the revolution your soul has been waiting for. Those walls were never meant to be permanent. They were temporary scaffolding, lessons to be integrated, not life sentences to endure. The moment you question them is the moment they begin to crumble. Every great awakening begins with this sacred rebellion against borrowed beliefs that no longer serve your highest becoming. Listen closely now, because this changes everything. The voice telling you "I can't" isn't yours. It's an echo of every time someone projected their fears onto you. The hesitation holding you back, that's not caution. It's the ghost of old wounds masquerading as wisdom. You are so much vaster than these passing clouds of doubt. Beneath all the layers of conditioning, your true essence remains untouched, infinite, unshakable, divinely powerful. Today marks the turning point where you stop confusing the map for the territory. You are not the story of your struggles, not the sum of your setbacks. You are the awareness that observes all these passing storms, the eternal presence that remains when the winds of circumstance die down. This knowing is your birthright, waiting patiently beneath the noise for you to remember. The journey home to yourself begins with this single revelation. You were never broken to begin with. Every perceived flaw, every so-called weakness was simply love calling you back to wholeness in disguise. Now breathe this truth deep into your being. Feel how your heart recognizes it like a long-forgotten melody. The time for playing small has passed. Your soul is ready to rise. What if I told you that the mysteries of quantum physics hold the keys to understanding your deepest spiritual truths? The quantum realm isn't just for scientists in lab coats. It's the very fabric of our interconnected reality. At the subatomic level, particles behave in ways that defy our everyday logic. They can be in two places at once, communicate instantaneously across vast distances, and exist as pure potential until observed. These aren't just scientific curiosities. They're mirrors reflecting profound spiritual principles we've known intuitively for ages. When we examine quantum entanglement, where particles remain mysteriously linked regardless of distance, we're seeing the scientific validation of ancient wisdom about the oneness of all creation. The separateness you feel is an illusion of perception, not the ultimate reality. Every choice you make ripples through the quantum field, affecting the whole in ways we're only beginning to comprehend. This understanding dissolves the boundaries between science and spirituality, revealing them as different languages describing the same cosmic dance. The observer effect in quantum physics, where particles behave differently when watched, shows us the creative power of consciousness. Your attention isn't passive, it's an active force shaping reality. This explains why focused intention and prayer have manifested miracles throughout history. The universe isn't a fixed stage, it's a responsive field waiting for your conscious participation. When you change how you observe your life, you literally change what you observe. This is quantum spirituality in action. Superposition reveals that particles exist in all possible states until measured, mirroring how our lives contain infinite potential until we make choices. Your future isn't predetermined. It's a spectrum of possibilities waiting for your consciousness to collapse them into experience. The quantum field doesn't distinguish between physical and non-physical. It simply responds to the energy you emit. Your thoughts and emotions are quantum commands broadcasting to the universe. Wave-particle duality shows us that reality has both physical and energetic aspects, just as we possess both body and spirit. The material world emerges from an invisible sea of potential, just as your tangible life emerges from your inner world of beliefs and perceptions. Quantum physics confirms what mystics have always known. Matter is condensed energy, and energy follows thought. You're not just in the universe is in you, responding to your every vibration. Quantum tunneling demonstrates how particles can bypass apparent barriers, reminding us that what seems impossible in classical physics becomes possible in the quantum realm. Your spiritual breakthroughs operate the same way. When you align with higher consciousness, you can transcend limitations that once seemed insurmountable. The walls between you and your dreams are more permeable than you imagine when you access quantum awareness. The holographic principle suggests all information about the whole is contained in every part, meaning every cell of your being carries the blueprint of cosmic intelligence. You don't need to search for divinity. It's already encoded within you, waiting to be activated. Quantum physics reveals that at the deepest level, everything is information and relationship. Your connection to the divine isn't something to achieve, it's something to remember, a fundamental truth written into the fabric of your being. These quantum insights invite us to rethink our place in the cosmos. You're not separate from the quantum field, you're an integral expression of it, a localized concentration of universal intelligence having a human experience. Every moment presents a choice. Will you perceive yourself as limited and separate, or will you recognize your quantum nature, unbounded, interconnected, and infinitely creative? The answer transforms everything. Imagine for a moment that reality is a vast, shimmering ocean of possibilities. Every drop of water in this ocean represents a potential outcome, a version of events waiting to be realized. This is the essence of quantum principles, where the unseen fabric of existence behaves in ways that defy our everyday logic, yet hold profound truths about how creation unfolds. Let's start with the wave-particle duality, one of quantum mechanics' most fascinating mysteries. Think of light as both a wave and a particle, like a dancer who is simultaneously moving fluidly across a stage while also occupying specific points in space. In our daily lives, we expect objects to be one thing or another, but in the quantum realm, things exist in a state of both, and rather than either, or this duality teaches us that reality is far more flexible than our senses perceive. Now, consider the observer effect, the idea that the act of observation changes what's being observed. Picture a shy firefly in a dark forest. The moment you shine a light to see it, it adjusts its glow or hides. Similarly, at the quantum level, particles behave differently when measured. This reveals a profound truth. Consciousness isn't separate from the physical world. It actively participates in shaping it. Your attention isn't passive, it's creative. Then there's quantum entanglement, where particles become mysteriously linked, no matter the distance between them. Imagine two tuning forks vibrating in perfect harmony. Strike one, and the other instantly responds, even if they're miles apart. This phenomenon suggests that separation is an illusion. Everything is interconnected in ways we're only beginning to understand. The universe doesn't operate in isolated fragments. It's a unified field of relationships. Superposition is another mind-bending principle, where particles exist in multiple states at once until observed. Think of a coin spinning in midair. It's neither heads nor tails until it lands. Quantum systems remain in this fluid state of potential until interaction collapses the possibilities into a single reality. This mirrors how our choices shape our lives from a field of infinite potentials. Quantum tunneling defies classical physics by allowing particles to pass through barriers they seemingly shouldn't. Imagine rolling a ball up a hill so steep it should stop halfway, yet sometimes it miraculously appears on the other side. This teaches us that limitations are often illusions. What seems impossible in one framework becomes achievable when we shift our understanding of energy and possibility. The uncertainty principle reminds us that certain pairs of properties, like position and momentum, can't both be precisely known. It's like trying to capture the exact location and speed of a hummingbird's wings. The more you focus on one, the less clear the other becomes. This isn't a flaw, but a fundamental feature of reality, showing that precision isn't always the path to truth. Sometimes, mystery is woven into the fabric of existence. These principles invite us to see the world with fresh eyes. Quantum mechanics isn't just physics, it's a metaphor for how we engage with life. When we embrace uncertainty, recognize our interconnectedness, and understand that observation shapes reality, we step into a more expansive way of being. The universe isn't a fixed, mechanical system. It's a living, responsive field of infinite potential waiting for our participation. So the next time you face a challenge, remember the quantum wisdom. You're not separate from the solutions you seek. Your consciousness, your choices, and your perception are all part of the dance. The universe conspires in possibilities. What will you observe into being? Many seekers on the spiritual path find themselves stumbling over the same hidden obstacles, not realizing how these pitfalls keep them from true awakening. One of the most common struggles is mistaking spiritual knowledge for spiritual wisdom, accumulating teachings like trophies while the heart remains untouched. We read countless books, attend endless workshops, yet fail to embody the very truths we claim to understand. This creates a dangerous illusion of progress, while our shadows continue to operate unchecked beneath the surface. Another trap is spiritual bypassing, using lofty concepts to avoid doing the messy inner work. We declare everything is love, while resentment simmers in our relationships. We chant about oneness, while judging others' paths. This avoidance creates fractures in our consciousness, where the unhealed parts of us grow louder in their silence. True transformation requires the courage to face what we'd rather transcend, to bring light to the places we've kept hidden even from ourselves. The comparison game drains countless spiritual journeys of their power. Watching others share their awakenings online, we measure our quiet, messy process against their highlight reels. But the divine unfolds uniquely through each soul. Your path, with its specific challenges and timing, is sacred. The moment you judge your journey as behind or less than, you disconnect from the divine intelligence orchestrating your perfect unfolding. Many get lost in seeking external validation rather than inner confirmation. We crave gurus to approve our experiences, signs to validate our path, when all along the quiet voice within has been whispering the truth. This outward orientation keeps us dependent rather than empowered. The most profound spiritual breakthroughs come when we stop looking for permission to trust our own knowing. Perfectionism masquerading as spirituality is another silent thief of joy. We berate ourselves for not being enlightened enough, not realizing this self-criticism contradicts the very love we seek to embody. Spiritual growth isn't about erasing humanity. It's about bringing more compassion to our human experience. Every moment of forgetfulness is another opportunity to practice gentle remembrance. Perhaps the subtlest trap is making spirituality another form of control, trying to manifest specific outcomes while resisting life's natural currents. We attempt to bend reality to our will rather than align with its wisdom. True surrender means releasing our timelines and trusting that what arrives is exactly what our soul requires for its next expansion. The common thread in all these pitfalls: the mind's attempt to grasp what can only be received by the heart. Every spiritual struggle ultimately points back to one truth. We keep searching for the divine everywhere except the sacred space within. When we stop trying to get it right and simply show up with open, humble awareness, the path reveals itself effortlessly. The light you seek has always been shining through your very presence, waiting patiently for you to stop long enough to recognize it. Imagine standing at the edge of everything you've ever known, feeling the pull of transformation deep in your bones. What if I told you that every limitation you perceive is simply a doorway waiting to be opened? The greatest shift happens not in your circumstances, but in the sacred space between your thoughts. Most people spend their lives chasing external validation when true freedom blossoms from within. Your soul doesn't need permission to shine. It's zero, already whole, already radiant. The moment you stop begging the world for approval is the moment you discover your infinite worth. Fear whispers that you're not enough, while love reminds you that you're everything. This is the cosmic joke we keep forgetting. The treasure was inside us all along. Your struggles aren't obstacles, they're sacred invitations to remember your divine nature. Every challenge carries the exact medicine your spirit requires to awaken. The world tells you to build walls of protection, but your soul knows the truth. Vulnerability is the birthplace of miracles. When you stop resisting what is, you begin dancing with life instead of fighting against it. Your broken places aren't weaknesses. They're where the light enters and transforms you. Judgment creates separation, while compassion weaves the web of connection. The moment you see yourself in others is when true wisdom dawns. Your gifts aren't meant to be hoarded. They're seeds waiting to be scattered across the fertile soil of human experience. Time isn't your enemy, but your ally, unfolding each lesson precisely when you're ready to receive it. The universe doesn't make mistakes. Even your deepest wounds are sacred geometry, shaping your soul's expansion. What you call failure is simply love's way of redirecting you home. Stillness isn't empty space, it's one where all creation begins. In the quiet between breaths, the infinite whispers its secrets. You're not here to perfect yourself, but to experience the breathtaking journey of remembering who you truly are. Every moment is an altar where heaven meets earth through your presence. The greatest power isn't found in control, but in surrender to the divine flow. When you release the need to figure everything out, life begins to carry you effortlessly. Your path isn't about arriving, it's about becoming the kind of being for whom every step is the destination. Love isn't something you find, it's what you are when all else falls away. The entire universe conspires to remind you of this one unshakable truth. You were never separate, never alone, never anything less than a perfect expression of the divine. Now breathe. And remember, to truly embody a principle is to let it move through every aspect of your being. Imagine love not as a concept, but as the way you hold the door for a stranger. Picture patience as your steady breath while teaching a child to tie their shoes. Principles come alive when we stop thinking about them and start living through them. Consider kindness. It's not just a nice idea, but the extra 5 minutes you take to listen when someone's hurting. It's choosing gentle words, even when frustration bubbles up. Watch how a master gardener tends each plant with equal care, understanding that every living thing responds to tenderness. That's embodiment. Courage shows up when you speak your truth despite trembling hands. It's the artist who shares their vulnerable work with the world, knowing criticism may come. Every time you choose growth over comfort, courage becomes your walking companion. Notice how firefighters train until their movements become instinct. That's principle turned into muscle memory. Presence embodies itself when you truly taste your morning tea instead of scrolling. It's the way a grandmother's full attention makes a child feel like the only person in the world. Watch a dancer whose entire being pours into the music. No separation between art and artist. This is how we turn mindfulness from theory into lived experience. Integrity isn't just refusing to lie, it's when your private actions match your public values. Observe the teacher who grades fairly when no one's watching. See how old trees grow straight toward the light regardless of storms. Every honest conversation, every kept promise, these are the bricks that build an integrated life. Joy becomes tangible when you laugh so hard your sides ache. It's the spontaneous dance in the kitchen, the unguarded delight in small wonders. Watch children chasing bubbles. Their whole bodies express pure joy without self-consciousness. This unfiltered aliveness is our birthright waiting to be reclaimed. Wisdom walks the earth through elders who share stories around fires. It's the healer who knows when silence speaks louder than advice. See how rivers find their way around obstacles without force. That's wisdom in motion. Every time you pause before reacting, every insight born from experience, wisdom takes root in your bones. Now feel your own breath. This is where principles take flesh. With each conscious choice, you're not just learning truths, but becoming them. The universe doesn't need more people who can quote scriptures. It needs living examples of compassion in action. Today, let your life be the sacred text that teaches without words.